just wanting to tell you. Oh my goodness, hold on. I just realized I have to wait 30 seconds again, just in case if it cuts off. I was gonna say something and then I got a little distracted. Okay, here, you guys can look at the cat. There you guys go. So I decided to move the flowers. Was on the other side of the apartment over here. You guys might have remembered seeing this arrangement. Yeah, I got tired of the old one. So anyway, I wanted to give you a little update about my diet. You guys knew that I found out, I think it was about, what was it, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, if I eat too much bread, I break out in acne, and it was pretty alarming. It's like the acne that I had was just so inflamed and it was like angry, and that just kind of reaffirmed to me that gluten, or at least bread, wheat, that kind of stuff, it causes me to have some sort of skin irritation. So I've been on the keto diet and I'm very, very happy with it. So keto diet, I included the links in the description below. I first heard about the keto diet when I was looking up online. This was over a year ago. I think this is like 2 years ago. And I came across like Dr. Eric Berg, and he's been one of those uh, big educators about the keto diet. Now, what it is basically you make sure that you have very low carbs, you eat vegetables, you eat meat, and you have enough fat in your diet and you have a lot of protein in your diet. That way, it keeps you fuller longer. And I shared with you guys, and if you all have been following my streams, that when Lewis was a vegetarian, he was constantly eating, just eating, 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 and he would be eating. Let's say when we went to one right to repair heating, I mean, he was so hungry. He ate two dinner entrees. I'm not kidding you guys, two dinner entrees, and the reason being is a lot of, like if you eat salad, if you eat like a whole pound of salad, it goes through you pretty quickly versus if you eat, let's say, 1 pound of steak. For any of you who have been like on eating those kind of like only leafy vegetables, it just doesn't fill you up very long. And same with simple carbs like bread. I can eat a sandwich and then I'll feel full for a little bit, and then I'll have to eat something afterwards. So for him, it's like I was looking through the Gardein food like he used to eat, and it was just basically fried or baked carbohydrates, and he would eat that with like rice, so it would be carbohydrate on carbohydrate. And it's really little wonder why he was just eating so much. There was nothing filling him up. And there was only so much avocados he could eat, and he was already eating eggs. And now when I look at it, right, because now he's a meat eater again, he eats a lot less food than he did before. And it's because he's eating things like Faye, 5%. I refuse to buy low fat or fat free yogurt. I do not fear fat at all. So this has 5 grams of sugar, 15 grams of protein, 160 calories. You can see over here, right? It seems like some people would say, oh, this looks really, really bad for you. But from oh, look at the carbohydrates over here. So carbohydrates is pretty low. See that? And then protein is high. So for this, I mean, you add it with some protein powder if you want. Yeah, this will definitely fill you up if you decide to eat this for quite some time. And like I said, I've seen a huge change in how much less food he eats, because the food that he eats now has a lot more fat. It's just not fried gluten when it comes down to it. And for me, when I go on the keto diet, when I cut out, let's say, flour, when I cut out rice, I still eat rice, but I don't eat nearly as much as I do before. Or if I do, I make sure I add it with a high fat like a fish. Like for instance, yesterday I had a craving for sushi, right? And then I know that you can have a sushi roll and then you just add vegetables inside with the seaweed. But I was thinking to myself, frick it, Erica, you haven't had rice, like a sushi, in such a long time. Just make some sushi, but just put a lot of sardines in it. So I had rice with sesame oil with sardines, and I shouldn't have done this, but I added natto because I had some in the fridge and I was craving it. And yeah, it was really really filling. I think having all those fish oils was good. So today I'm not gonna eat sushi. It's just one of those things where I'm like I don't want to just tell myself like I'm never ever gonna eat rice in my life again. That's not gonna be realistic because I love rice so much. But I try to pair it with a high fat. Um, no, yeah, well I didn't have like tuna on me. You know, I don't have salmon on me. I don't have any sushi grade stuff here. And where we live, you're not gonna find sushi restaurants either. So if it's like late at night, 8 p.m., I want to eat sushi. What am I gonna do? It's gonna be either like tuna mayo or sardines, and yeah, that's the fish that I have normally around the house. I also have fish oils as well. Yeah. So it looked pretty bad, but then I had like keep in mind it's like that day that you saw it, it didn't look so bad because it was healing already. But yeah, I still have pigmentation marks. Yeah, so yeah, if you eat just like bread, you guys will see this, right? Like pastries, that kind of stuff. You eat it, it's nice, but it doesn't fill you up. I would recommend, and this is just my personal opinion, this is not health advice. Um, Definitely look into what people believe about the keto diet. Again, if the keto diet doesn't work for you or you don't find it sustainable, then try another diet. But I've tried basically every diet out there, and I've come to realize, for me, I work best on the keto diet because gluten just kind of gives me some issues. And yeah, so when I was carnivore for a brief period of time, I was just eating meat, just meat, and that's basically it. Except when I was at home, it's like, okay, I got to eat a little bit rice at night. But when I was like high meat intake, I leaned up. I know some people would probably think like, oh, you must have gained a lot of weight eating, let's say, lamb every day or eating steak with Kerrygold every day. No, I was looking a lot less flabby, and I had more energy. And I don't know what it was about that, but maybe it was because it was a high fat, high protein diet. But I really liked it. The only reason why I stopped the carnivore diet is like some people thrive on that stuff. You do have some long term carnivore dieters out there, but I missed eating vegetables. Carnivore people would call that anti nutrients. They would say, oh, if you eat a vegetable, it's not that good for you, despite what you think, because there's when you bite into it, allegedly, it like the vegetable would release things that could harm you. So if you have like irritable bowel syndrome, for instance, they would say like, oh, try take away the vegetables and see if you see a difference for you. So some people who are on the carnivore diet, they realize that their IBS decreased or it went away after they got rid of all the vegetables and they're only sticking on meat. So for them, it works. But for me, I was thinking like, I don't think I'm gonna get all the vitamins I need, and I think I'm much better off with a well-rounded diet. So that's why I still include vegetables in my diet. I still eat fruit. I don't eat that much fruit, but I still eat fruit, and I'm happy with my diet right now. I really am. So yeah, just try all sorts of diets, and I've told you guys this before, but always be mindful about your mental health and your physical health as well. And I think that sometimes, like, if people have been on a diet for a long time and they have health issues, it's important to just see a diet for what it is, which is, I don't see a diet as a religion. I see it as a way to as for people to try ensure that they have the best health possible. But for some people, right, they go on a diet for a long period of time, and then for whatever reason the diet doesn't work for them. So right now, at this point in time, I feel really good on the keto diet. I don't feel bloated. I don't feel hungry. I know I'm eating nutritious food. And when I go over to the shopping mall, this was really surprising. So I went to a grocery store yesterday. I went to a Japanese supermarket. You would think that I would be so excited and so happy to go into a Japanese supermarket and see like the pocky and see like the Japanese snacks. Surprisingly, I was like, when I was looking around, I was like, okay, Japanese cereal, I don't want to eat that. That has carbs. Okay, Japanese bread, I don't really want to eat that because of the carbs. I got like a small little container of kinako mochi because I want Lewis to try it, like a really small container. And then I bought some natto because I felt really nostalgic about it. I was like, I haven't had natto in like 6 months, more than 6 months. So I ate that with a little rice yesterday. But and then I bought vegetables, and that's it. So a small little container of mochi, like three little packets of natto, and then a bag of green veggies, and yeah, I think that's all I bought. Yeah, I really didn't buy very much. So when I see carbs, I don't have this automatic like, oh, I want to eat this like right away. Like if I see a piece of cake, of course I'm going to eat it, but it's interesting because like I look at food a different way, and it's just like my mind thinks like, Erica, you've been working on your diet pretty persistently. I've been working on trying to make substitutions for things. And I think because I know how I feel right now, and because I know that my skin seems calmer, I don't want to screw it up by introducing too many carbs. So yeah, I don't have I don't, like I said, I don't completely eliminate carbs, but I just want to make sure that I don't overdo the carbs. Yeah, so high calorie is good. I've always thought to myself like, man, I want to stay away from fatty food, but what I've realized is I want to stay away from processed foods. Processed food, like eating things like this. You see this? Like this is tasty, okay? I'm not gonna lie. Um, so like the cheese is tasty and the smoked meat is tasty, but I shared with you guys, right? Like I want to reduce my smoked meat intake because I'm a little concerned about nitrates. But this stuff, if you eat this plus this is gonna fill you up. So Starbucks has a snack pack. I forgot what it was, like Sopra or something like that. I can't remember. And I think it's about like 6.99, 5.99, or 6.99. It's just meat and cheese. I was surprised. Like that stuff is pretty freaking good. So if I was, let's say, out and about, I didn't, I wanted a snack, and then I was like, oh, okay, I don't know where I could get anything that was keto. I would be very tempted to go over to Starbucks and just buy this and this, their own little version of it, and then just eat that as a snack. And then that will tide me over until I can get a healthier meal out there. A lot of food that I see, it's just carb heavy. Sandwiches are carb heavy. What else? Like fried food. I don't want that. I want stuff that isn't deep fried, battered in something, heavily processed. Instant ramen. I used to eat a lot of instant ramen at some point in my life. I mean, like if yeah, I stocked up on the instant ramen. It's like now I look at it, I'm like, I could do without the instant ramen. If I mean, like if it comes down to like survival food, then instant ramen is really handy to have. But it's not nutritional. It doesn't have nutrition in it. It's basically fried noodles, and that has a bunch of salty sodium sauce on there, and it um, tells your mind like, hey, this is really tasty. Now, I think Kopaz wrote in my comments section something along the lines of one of the reasons why South Koreans have a high rate of stomach cancer in the world is because they eat so much freaking sodium. I looked into it because I was curious, and I found out like South Koreans eat a lot of freaking instant noodles. They eat a lot of like kimchi. Kimchi is high sodium too. A lot of the sauces that they have is high sodium. So when you have high sodium with high sodium with high sodium, that that isn't really doing you any favor. So I think it's very important to just watch the sodium, watch the deep fried, the heavily processed stuff, and just eat natural food. So something, let's say, like a grilled salmon on salad would be healthy, or like a meat that isn't that is broiled or steamed, and then you just have that on vegetables or whatever a lower carb carbohydrate is. I still, like I said, I still eat rice. I just reduce my intake of rice, so I don't eat that much rice as I used to. Korean food is healthy, but it's just the freaking sodium. I wrote in a community post. I think it was like yesterday or the day before. It's crazy. Like I really thought, like, how the hell is South Koreans and the Japanese having stomach cancer? But they ferment things, right? You see like ume, you see things like pickled vegetables. This is stuff that happened before. This is stuff that they were doing before refrigeration, right? So this kind of stuff, it's like you don't have to worry about it going bad. But the way that they preserve this stuff is a high amount of salt. So salt on salt on salt. It seems healthy because it's vegetables, but really it's not doing you much favors. I don't eat chicken because chicken actually breaks me out. It's strange. I don't know what it is about chicken. Some people say it's like there's like omega 6, omega 3. I forgot which one chicken is. But yeah, I don't have any problems with beef. I don't have any problems with lamb. So I usually just eat beef or lamb or fish. Like sardines, I like eating because it's cheap. It's cheap and I can keep it in a can and I don't have to worry about it going bad as quickly as, let's say, fresh fish. But you probably will never really see me eat chicken. And then for chicken, I don't know, I just get tired of eating chicken after a while. But chicken noodle soup, even though like the noodles have carbs, like that's really nice. Yeah, so anonymous individual said never eat anything with nitrate or nitrite. That's kind of hard. As it's like when you look at these ingredient lists. Okay, let's look at this one, right? So this one doesn't have anything. I mean, it doesn't have nitrates, but it says like pork, sea salt, contains less than 2% of sugar, cultured celery juice powder, sea salt, canola oil, natural flavoring, sweet paprika, wine, garlic, lactic acid. This doesn't have any nitrate or nitride, so I guess it would be okay. But the only downside is like look at that sodium intake, 550. See that? So you get Yeah, so I usually pair it with these crackers. I know some people be like, Erica, you said you were keto. Yeah, but like, look at the carbs. It's like 9 grams. I don't mind eating a few crackers here and there. It's not like on a super restrictive diet. So, I've made substitutions in my life. I've been going with like lower carb crackers. I don't eat. I've been buying this thing called Nut Thins. That's pretty healthy, and I feel pretty good on it. And it's just like making these small little changes allows me to eat what I want, but I don't have to, as long as I get into the habit of, let's say, buying certain things. Here, let me show you guys an example here. I think I still have a box. Okay, here we go. So I bought these things called pecan thins. See this? And if you look at the label, it says 19 crackers has 23 carbs, which isn't the best. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it's not the best. Try not to eat 19 crackers, but I feel like it's not too bad compared to other crackers. But yeah, it doesn't have wheat or gluten, and that's what I like about it. So, yeah, I'm not going to try to buy this very often or eat this very often, but I feel like I don't have to worry too much about my carbs. And again, that wheat and gluten just kills me. So I try to make small little substitutions and I feel better that way. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of food. I'm just trying to, I guess, trick my mind into saying, "Hey, instead of eating this, eat that." And you guys know that there's this book out there, or there's like a website that says, I think the name is like "Eat This and Not That." So they try to make you do healthier choices. So if you are going to eat something, you have a better way of going about it. Ah, is it uncured? See, I don't know too much about meats, but yeah, I don't know if it's uncured, but this is pretty good. The one at Starbucks though is superior to this. Gonna be honest with you, I was surprised. I know you guys are probably thinking, Erica, like, what the hell are you talking about going to Starbucks and buying that one? But yeah, if you go to Starbucks, like, try it. Seriously, try it, and then let me know what you guys think about it. I get the little meat, and then I stack it with the cheese, and it's just so good. It's really really good. What do I eat with my meat? If I eat something like a steak, I'll usually eat it with like vegetables and I eat it with like a little bit of rice. I do have cauliflower rice, but yeah, it's just I do have cauliflower rice in the freezer. I think I have like 5 bags of cauliflower rice. But to be honest with you, I really like my regular rice. Maybe it's because I grew up. When I was growing up, I always ate rice every single day. So I'm just so used to regular rice. But I'm gonna try cook with the cauliflower rice and see how that works. Hold on, let me take out the cauliflower rice. That way you can see it. So this is the rice cauliflower, and I think it was about $3. So it kind of like chopped up like rice, and then it's yeah, you just steam it. So it's actually faster to cook this than it is for regular rice. And you can see it has 4 grams of carbohydrates for every 3/4 cup. I'm thinking like if I add butter to it or if I eat sesame oil to it, maybe it'll be pretty good. I don't like steam. I know some people steam this stuff in the bag. There are some of those steamable ones, but I don't really care for it that way. I don't know. Maybe just cooking stuff in a plastic bag kind of turns me off. So I will just make this in a pot and then cook it on low heat or something for a while. So yeah, it's like those little substitutions. It's nice. It's nice and it's easy to do. But how I will react to having cauliflower rice every day, I don't know. I don't know, but at least I have it. Am I trying to maintain? You know what? I honestly don't care about my weight. It's like we have a scale, but I never weigh myself. I feel like I weigh myself maybe once every 4 months, just out of curiosity. I think last time I checked my weight was, and this is deceiving because I checked this at night, right? I'm supposed to check it every morning, but I usually like sometimes check my weight when I'm at the store, and my weight usually is about like 119 pounds. I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't really care about my weight. So I don't know if I'm gonna lose weight or gain weight if I substitute cauliflower rice, but I can't imagine it making that big of a difference because I don't even eat that much rice in general. I go with like beef and veggies instead, high fat foods, high fat fish, and yeah. So the cauliflower rice isn't gonna make me drop a lot of weight. Yeah, so for me, like I don't know how much, of course, like I don't know how much other people eat. For me, it's like I don't eat that much food. But I used to snack a whole lot more before, a whole lot more. It's crazy. When I look back at it, when I have food that is of less nutrition, like if I'm eating empty carbs all day, I don't know if it's just because my brain craves nutrition or what, but I will just go for like the super salty, savory foods. And um, I want to fill myself up with that flavor of sorts. Like if I start the day, let's say, if I start the day eating something like a pancake, right? I will, I'll eat it and then I'll be like, oh, this is kind of heavy. And then maybe later on in the day, I'm going to be like, oh, I feel like eating some potato chips. And then I'll eat potato chips. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, okay, let me see. Oh, I kind of feel like eating instant ramen. So you kind of see, like, I can go from one crappy food to another crappy food to another crappy food. And it just turns into a chain reaction. The only way I can stop that kind of eating is to eat less processed foods. And then that way it's like I start the morning off well, and then throughout the day it's like I just maintain it. But yeah. Yeah, I don't watch my calories. I just do. I know this is going to sound so cliche, but I do this whole intuitive eating thing. If I'm hungry, I'll eat something. I always try to make sure I have a high protein in there. Um, not too much, like not deep fried foods. I was thinking about getting an air fryer, but I also thought like, oh, Erica, if you got an air fryer, what would you cook in there? French fries? No, that's high carb. Chicken, fried chicken? Nah, you don't really eat chicken. I really wouldn't know what I would do with an air fryer, even if I had it. It's like I don't really want to eat tortilla chips, right? Because of the carbs too. So I didn't really have a use for an air fryer. But I was entertaining that idea. I was entertaining that idea a couple days ago. Yeah, I kind of feel like, and this is just my speculation. You know, this is what I notice with me. If I'm eating crappy food, I tend to, like I said, I tend to want to have high salt, high salt, more processed foods. So because I've been eating healthier, it's I haven't had a instant ramen craving. And even when I look at instant ramen now, I'm like, oh, those freaking carbs. It's gonna like spike my blood sugar up so much. I don't want to do it. Yeah, yeah. People say air fryers help them lose weight. So let's say if you're not like me, and then chicken doesn't tend to like break you out. I don't know what it is about chicken, but it tends to break me out. So yeah, if you're okay on chicken, having something like an air fryer would be a way to, let's say, make kind of like a fried chicken or something, without having to do with the deep frying thing. The bad thing about deep frying is that I have a thing against vegetable oils now, like a lot of vegetable oils. I try to stay away from vegetable oils except maybe an avocado oil. Coconut oil breaks me out too. If I have too much of it. And then the other thing that breaks me out surprisingly is coconut milk. It's like I had to stop. I remember when Lewis was vegetarian, I was making food with coconut milk, and I could not understand like why am I breaking out so much, and it was coconut milk. So I stay away from coconut milk, but um yeah, I have to be very mindful about what I'm consuming. And then if I see a breakout suddenly, just think like, okay, Erica, what did you eat? What could you have possibly ate that's causing you a breakout? The other thing too that I think it's like doesn't sit well with me too much is chickpeas. So I'll still eat hummus here and there, but I'm kind of aware that it can cause me to have to break out as well. Ooh. Yeah, chicken is tasty. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't hate the taste of chicken. I love the taste of chicken. It's just I wish I didn't break out if I ate too much chicken. But I also know that there are some people who say that chicken gives them issues if they eat too much of it. So yeah, that's why they go on the whole lamb and beef kick. So that's what I've been doing. I usually stay away from pork. Also, I had a craving for this because I haven't had this in a couple months. So I was thinking, oh, I'm trying to stay fuller with eating meats, but pork, I don't really eat pork either. You won't see me buy pork or prepare stuff in for food. I won't eat like pork chops. I won't eat yeah, a lot of pork products I don't eat. Just once in a blue moon I'll eat like some salami or something. Yeah, that this is like what's it called? I forgot how you say that thing, but that board thing. Man, I didn't think like apples and cheese match until I tried it, and I was like, this is pretty freaking good. But apples is pretty high on carbohydrates too, so I'm like, apples are, bananas are, what is there? Grapes. Grapes are high in sugar too. I still like. Don't get me wrong. Like I still eat fruit. I ate a mango yesterday. We have bananas, but I definitely limit what I'm consuming. I don't want to live a life where it's like I tell myself like I can never eat a banana ever again because I have to count my carbs. And if I have my carbs too high, like that would be terrible. I'm not a bodybuilder. I have no desire to go into bodybuilding. I'm just gonna eat the freaking banana. Yeah, so I included a link in the description. There's one with Eric Berg. He explains what keto is. He'll 10 times better than I can. It's like I'm that kind of person. Like I'll remember things and it'll click in my brain, but I'm kind of bad at explaining stuff. So that's why I included the link on that. I do believe strongly in intermittent fasting. I don't eat every single meal. I eat a lot less than I used to before. And it's not because I'm trying to not eat meals, but rather it's like I don't feel full. I mean, I don't feel hungry. So when I don't feel hungry, I don't feel the need to eat. And I stay hydrated with drinking water. But today because that one person that I linked in my description as well under the Eric Berg video. Oh, I forgot his name, but his name is like the diet chef. He does this keto cooking. Look at this. I saw this thing for Dalgona coffee. I know I've been saying I'm trying to stay away from coffee, you guys. I just had to make it because it looked tasty, and I've never had Dalgona coffee. So I made this with I think it was 2 tablespoons of instant coffee with some almond milk, and then I think 2 tablespoons or something like that of like monk fruit sugar, monk fruit erythromycin, whatever that is, sugar. I shook it all up because I was like, I'm not gonna do it the freaking layer thing. I was reading the comments and someone said, yeah, just shake it up all in a jar. I used a blender bottle because that shakes it up really well. And I've been drinking it, and I don't think I'm gonna finish the whole thing. But it is quite tasty, guys. But yeah, I don't like to drink coffee because I've been trying to take care of my teeth, right? So, but I had a craving. I went for the craving, but it doesn't have sugar in it, and it's yeah. I moderate, so I'll have this. But you won't see me drink a lot of coffee. Not nearly as much as coffee as I drank before. I used to drink coffee for I think about a month, close to a month. I was drinking black coffee every single day. My teeth were getting darker, and unsurprisingly, I noticed that I had a white spot on my teeth, and that started the whole kick with taking care of my teeth. I was like, no, I've been staining my teeth, and my teeth easily stain. It really does. So, um, yeah, I have to make sure that I take care of my teeth. Yeah, I have my gel cam too, so I'm gonna have to make sure I limit the coffee and not drink too much coffee. But yeah, I don't believe in a restrictive diet. I'll still drink coffee, but a lot less than I did before, for sure. And then no added sugar. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like pork too much except for this little salami stuff. Oh wait, I take that back. Roast pork, roast Chinese pork. You know what I'm talking about? That's really good. Pork belly. Yeah, I gotta try that. There's a YouTuber that I follow. Her name's Asa Conlu. I spoke about her a few times in my community posts. She recently restarted her YouTube channel, so she said that she feels like the perfect ratio of meat to fat is in pork belly. And because she follows it, and she has a lot of good advice. Unfortunately, she removed her YouTube page. I don't know why. She had hundreds of videos with all this information I never found in other carnivore dieters, and a lot of the priceless information she had is completely gone. So I'm gonna yeah, next time if I'm out and about, or I want to go to Korean yakiniku with Lewis, because Lewis is on low carb too, so it makes it easier for both of us. Like if we go out, we can have a similar diet since we're both following like the keto diet. He's been snacking a lot less. Before, he used to eat a lot of carbohydrates, as I told you guys before, sugary foods. And I was telling him when he was vegetarian, like I used to tell him, I think one of the reasons why you're eating so much food is because you're not having enough like fats in your food. You're not having a lot of protein. And for a while, it's like he was telling me like he felt like he could achieve it using eggs, or he could just do it with more protein powder or more avocados. And ultimately, he felt like maybe his diet was lacking, so he went back to being he went back to being a meat eater after 5 years. And it's a very admirable, 5 years of not eating meat. That's something a lot of people wouldn't be able to do. But he tried the diet, he tried it best he could, and at the end of it, um, yeah, it's like now I see what he eats. And again, it's remarkable about how much less food he eats compared to before. He was like snacking in the middle of the night, snacking constantly throughout the day, just eating. And I know some people will not believe me when I say if you eat high fat foods, like that will keep you full. But it really works. I'm not advocating for eating things like cheese all the time, but I do think eating like a nice steak, cooked in Kerrygold butter with rosemary and salt, that's not bad at all. And having that on a bed of vegetables, that's really nice. Or if you don't want to eat steak, you can eat lamb. There's some, I remember like when I was in Hawaii, I used to eat lamb. I think it was lamb neck or something like that, or lamb shoulder blades or something like that. Safeway used to sell it for $5 a pound, so I used to stock up on that. And my dad used to be like, "Oh my goodness, Erica, you're eating lamb on lamb on lamb," and I was like, "Yeah." So I really like, that kind of stuff. Like, I wish I could find that kind of stuff affordably priced here in New York. It's strange for me to say it, but I feel like meat is more expensive for me to buy in New York than Hawaii. Because Hawaii, I know about how much I was paying per pound for grass-fed stuff or lamb, and it was about $8 a pound for the local grass-fed beef. And then on sale at Safeway, I was paying like $5 a pound. And when I go to like the supermarkets, I see grass-fed meat for like $22 a pound, like $18 a pound. I'm like, I can't believe my freaking island on the Pacific Island is cheaper for meat than New York. I used to eat a lot of top sirloin, grass-fed top sirloin. It's called picanha, Picanha. So it has this fat cap on there, and then if you cook it on a cast iron grill with Kerrygold butter, and you get the fat really crispy, it's amazing. It's so it just is like the highlight of my evening. I know it sounds crazy for me to say it, and you probably think like, Erica, you're so skinny. How could you say this? No, but seriously, when I used to eat that stuff, I would make sure like the fat was extra crispy, and I would cut it, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking good. It's just great. And I used to eat all the fat for that dripped out and everything. I was really happy eating that way. Really happy. And yeah, it's just the price of that stuff here in New York. It's depressing when I go to a store. I look at it and I look at the same cut that I could have got for $8 in Hawaii for 17, $18 here in New York. And I'm not looking at specialty places either. I'm just looking at meat places that I see and hear about, and it's just like they say like, yeah, it's $18 if you want grass fed stuff. So it's pricey. There are places where I can buy grass fed meat for cheaper, but I would have to buy like $100 worth of meat to get free shipping. And I don't know how I feel about it, because I have had meat in the freezer, and I don't know, I just like the taste of fresh over than frozen. So it's, yeah, I gotta see what I'm gonna do about that. Yeah, so partay, my teeth is the same way. My teeth stain so freaking easily. I don't know what it is about my teeth. Like, I brush 2 times a day. Now I floss, but even with brushing, it's like my teeth just soak up the coffee stains and the soda stains. I don't drink alcohol. It's not like I have anything against alcohol. It's just like I don't like drinking alcohol. I don't really like the taste of it. I turn into a lobster, so I don't like that either. But if I drink staining staining drinks like coffee, man, my teeth are not happy about it. So just gotta lay off that. Another thing I heard you could do, and I don't do it, but maybe I'll think about it, is some people they say that they drink with a straw. I knew a person who was drinking Diet Coke every single day, and her teeth looked really good, and she told me it's because she drinks with a straw. Yeah, so Lavender asks me about what the heavyweight vegans. I would say it's not hard to gain weight, in my opinion, on any diet if you eat a lot of carbs. So if you're eating a lot of bread, you're eating a lot of pasta. If you eat carbs, it turns into sugars in your body, and then it's just not good. I don't want to spike the blood sugar levels up. I was sharing to you guys in a community post. There's this thing called I think it's called glycation. I might be pronouncing it wrong. So when you have sugars, it basically it spikes your blood sugar levels up, and then it can cause wrinkles. So I don't want to have any wrinkles. I don't want to have premature aging. And I've been looking at certain people who are there's this series on YouTube called Freaky Eaters. So you'll see people who say like they live on nothing but mac and cheese every day for years. They don't drink anything but Coca-Cola every day for a number of years. And I've been looking at their skin. Weirdly enough, like I look at their skin because I see them as people who've been sticking on a certain diet, and I want to say like, oh, do they look like they're older, they're in their age? Do they look like do they look like they're pretty heavy set because of all that carbs? And out of all the diets that I've seen for like freaky eaters kind of thing, the one person I was genuinely surprised looked good is there's this one guy. He eats raw meat. And raw meat, I know that you have also a risk of getting food poisoning, but some people it's like their immune systems are different. This guy who eats raw meat, I think he had on there his brother too, right? His brother looked way worse than the guy eating raw meat. And I was shocked because I like look at the guy who eats raw meat. I'm like his skin looks freaking good. His teeth look really good. And I can't help but think it's because he's getting a lot of fats in his diet, but I don't know if I don't know like if that's really making all the difference. Some people are on the carnivore diet, they respond really really well to it. They look really healthy on it. Asla Conley was one of those people. I think she's like 47 or 48. She looks really good for her age, and she eats raw meat. She drinks I think she drinks some kind of like purified water or sparkling water or something like that. I forgot what the brand is, but if I saw it, I would remember what it is. Like I said, she deleted basically all of her videos, all her old videos. I can't find them online except maybe a few of them that have been re-uploaded. So I'm trying to remember what exactly she said she was eating, but yeah, she eats raw meat. She has it with a certain ratio for fat, and I know that was described in her most recent video. She eats things like raw bone marrow. I wouldn't even know where to get that here, even if I wanted to. But yeah, she for her she works really really well on that diet. I can't say if I would work really well on that diet, eating all just only raw meat here, but um, yeah, it's surprising how healthy certain people can look only eating raw meat. It's just genuinely shocking to me. So, when I look at that versus, let's say, like I don't think I've ever seen a person who eats raw meat that looks unhealthy. Like any of like the prominent influencers, their skin looks good, or yeah, their skin looks good, their gums look good. They don't look like they're malnourished at all. And I know some people, It's like they stick to a diet, let's say if they're not eating any meat, or if they're just, juicing, smoothies and juicing, that kind of stuff. It's like I always have concerns about that kind of stuff because some people, they, like I said, Annette Larkins is a raw vegan. She looks really good for her age. I think she's 80, but I might be remembering wrong. She is a raw vegan, but then you have a lot of people who go on the same kind of diet she does, sprouting things, juicing things, and some of them look like absolute crap. So for her, that diet works for her, but for another person, it might not. So, yeah, so some people, like I've always said, right? That's the importance of trying all different diets. You never know because there might be a person out there who says, "Hey, you know what? I thrive best on carbohydrates." And some people follow a high carbohydrate diet. For me, I know I can't do it. Like I've seen the way I am with bread. I see the way I am with beans. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or so. I told you guys like I had the one of the worst workouts I've had in my life because I ate very innocently. I ate beans on top of rice, and I had that before I worked out. And during that time, I was trying to be low carb, right? So I think eating beans on top of rice just threw off my body. I was like, what the hell is all this carb on carb crap? So I got on the subway and I already had a headache about an hour later or so. And then I went to the store and I just had no energy. Really, really strange. But so, yeah. Yeah, you know what? Vegetarianism and veganism, it in my opinion, it stems from people wanting to do better for the environment. So they say, like, I don't want to eat animal products. I don't want to eat animals because I want to be more humane. I don't want to have an animal killed for me to consume it. So for those people, instead of eating, let's say, chicken, beef, fish, pork, they'll say, okay, I'm gonna go off and try, instead of eating that, I'm gonna eat stuff like tofu, um, Beyond Meat, tempeh. I hate tempeh. Freaking hate tempeh so much. Um, what else is there? Vegan cheeses, beans. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of beans too much. I eat beans, but it gives me such bad gas. And then um, yeah, so it's like there's good intentions behind it, but I strongly believe if you try a diet and you feel like you're a little off on the diet, or you feel like you're not meeting your true nutritional needs, you owe it to yourself to find a diet that works best for you. So um, if like, I would never get into a diet simply for ethics, because I think it's dangerous if, let's say, a person, like, for instance, right, that one raw vegan, and I was talking to Lewis about this too. She doesn't eat any cooked beans, any cooked vegetables. She sprouts the beans, but she doesn't cook them. So, something like going to Chipotle and, let's say, eating Chipotle bowl with like rice and refried beans and vegetables. Like, she won't eat that because she's a raw vegan. And it's like, I think to myself, like, okay, if you're vegan because of for animal welfare, I can respect that. But why would you deprive yourself of eating cooked beans? That just doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, there are people who say, like, oh, when you cook a bean, for instance, right, or when you cook any vegetables, you're depriving yourself of nutrients, right, because the nutrients get killed off after a certain high temperature. Well, okay, 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 but there's only so much raw veggies and raw fruits we can eat, right? We cannot like process, um let's say, we cannot process like everything being raw. Or you could dehydrate stuff, but freaking dehydrating takes a long time. You might be dehydrating something for a few hours. And Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, like those food dehydrators. Like that is not quick food. That is food that you have to sit in there for 4 hours. I've seen some of those dishes. I'm like, frick, I don't want to get a food dehydrator and make these chips and wait 4 or 5 hours for the frickin' chips. And then what is it? It's like banana chips, tomatoes. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's actually, you know what people recommend, that you soak your beans overnight so you release, I think it's like lectins or something. They say like beans, if you don't soak them, they're poisonous, or so you're don't just soak them for a couple hours, soak them overnight. I don't I haven't cooked dried beans in such a long time, so um I can't vouch if it tastes different if I soak it overnight versus a couple hours, but that's what I heard. Yeah, so that kind of stuff, yeah, that kind of stuff takes a long time to prepare. And even that one, that raw vegan YouTuber, her name is Fully Raw Christina, if you guys want to look her up. She's 1 year older than me, okay? And if you look at how she looks, like, she looks very aged. She has wrinkles, and I normally, like, I won't you won't hear me talk about this kind of stuff or other people, but the reason why I mention this is because she's obviously supposed to be on the cleanest diet in the world, right? Eating raw veggies, raw fruits, juicing, detoxing. I mean, like, at this point, she's been doing it for 15 years. What are you detoxing after 15 years on a clean diet? But and then she also supplements a lot. And someone calculated that her diet allegedly costs $40 a day to maintain. And I don't know if that includes all her I forgot what it was, sun something, sun power, or I forgot, supplements she shows as well. So that kind of diet is not cheap, and you're also heavily reliant on a lot of, like, you're either getting fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, or you're freezing them. Oh yeah, I gotta get going soon, cuz I got to work out. But yeah, so, like, I don't see any downside, like, yeah, I wish she would include cooked beans in her diet. Like, cooked vegetables, cooked beans, get tofu in her diet. I don't think she eats tofu either. So, I just, like, I don't understand it. It's But her whole spiel on YouTube is being a raw vegan. So if she is not a raw vegan, if she turns her back on raw veganism, she's gonna lose a subscriber base, right? Because they're gonna say, "What? You've been telling us to follow this diet for a number of years." She has these like $4,000 retreats that her followers can go on it with her. I think it was like 4,000 or $5,000. It was to Bali or something like that. So yeah, if she makes one little modification to her diet and she says, "Yeah, I'm not raw vegan anymore, I'm just regular vegan," I think she would lose quite a bit of appeal with her subscriber base. So, but yeah, I really wish she would include tofu in there, or beans. I know I'm repeating myself, but seriously, I don't think she looks that great on her diet. You would think she would look really good on the diet, but there's something that she's deficient in, and I can't figure out what exactly it is. Yeah, if and the other thing too is, yeah, she looks really skinny. I don't just mean like she's thin, but when you look at her face, it, like, her eyes look really hollowed out, and I've never met a person whose eyes look so hollowed out. So I can't figure out what's causing it. Because I've seen some vegans on YouTubers, right? And their eyes don't look like that. They look significantly healthier than her. So, what is it exactly? Is it because she's missing a number of carbohydrates in there? Is it because she's missing beans? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think, like, if you see the portions of food she makes too, it's insane. It looks like, I see the big smoothies she makes. Like, these are big freaking mason jars. I see the big bowls of salad she makes. I'm like, this looks like it could feed 4 people. It's Yeah, she eats. It's I don't know if it's just because of if that's really how much she eats a day, but my goodness, it's crazy. It is crazy. It's like you would look like you have like you got to shop your vegetables at Costco for sure. That's going to cost you a small fortune. But again, maybe that's why she spends allegedly, her diet. Someone tried to imitate it and they said that's $40 a day. I don't know. And then there's this other person that I know. Okay, yeah. But also there are some people and you guys can follow it too. There are a few people who's have like what I eat in a day. And if you look at, let's say, carnivore dieters, right? A lot of people, like some people, you got people who do intermittent fasting. I don't do intermittent fasting. I eat more than one meal a day. I eat 2 meals a day at least. And then I have a snack too, or a few like light snacks. Lewis knows. He sees me like picking around. Like I'll be like, ooh, I'll have a little of this. And then I'll eat a little bit of this. Okay, I'll have a handful of this, that kind of stuff. So, you will see people who if they're not eating a high protein diet, they will say stuff like, okay, I wake up, I eat breakfast, and then I eat pre lunch, and then I'll eat lunch, and then after lunch I'll have a snack. And then you look at the size of the snack, you're like, holy shit, this looks really freaking big. And then they eat dinner, and then they have like a snack, so they're constantly eating throughout the whole day. We're talking like 6 meals a day, just. And then they say like they're constantly hungry. I'm like, please, get like eat something that has more, that can fill you up a little longer. Just don't keep snacking throughout the day. That's like a lot of snacking. Yeah, so some people, it's like, they eat a lot of food. They eat a lot of food in terms of a lot of carbs. So I'm a big fan of like staying away from a lot of this carb bomb stuff. And if you eat too many carbs, this is from my experience. If I eat something with a lot of carbs or a lot of sugar, I get a sugar crash, and then I feel like crap. So it's in my best interest to make sure that I'm not just setting myself for a crash somewhere. Yeah, I gotta go and work out with Lewis, and then yeah. So I try to work out 3 times a week with him. Try to. Sometimes it's only 2 times, and yeah, it's good though because I try to keep a routine. Of course, there's some days that I feel a little off, or time of the month thing. Last thing I want to do on that is lift weights. Being honest here, like I am so lethargic when I'm on my time of the month that I don't even want to think about exercising. I just want to curl up in a ball and wait a whole week and have that just be like, okay, I'll come back in the end of the week kind of thing. He does work out. I've been complimenting him. I noticed like he looks less bloated now, and he also looks more toned, shall I say, because he's reducing his carb intake. So, when I told you, you remember how I told you guys that when I was on the carnivore diet, I thinned out. Not thinned out, but I like toned up a little. I look less padded. Yeah, same thing is happening to him. So, I'm happy that he's seeing benefits of the diet, and I'm sure he's happy too. So he works out, and yeah, you guys have seen probably his running video yesterday. You saw the one on his YouTube. Yeah, something like, I don't know. I can't believe how many freaking comments he got from that video. I'm like, what? And people were saying like, when I tell him that my MacBook got water damage, it's like they were making memes out of it. I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, man, I wish you would run that fast if my computer was broken. I wish he would run that fast if Cleo was broken. He would just laugh. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like when I have my time of the month, you guys, it's just totally brutal for me. I just think like, please, just let the time pass by. I don't want to do anything. I just want to lie in bed and just like, I just lose a lot of blood, so I'm really lethargic. And I shared with you guys when I was in Hawaii, like after I had my monthly time, I used to always go to a yakiniku place, and I would feel much better afterwards because I would go to a yakiniku place pretty lethargic, and then afterwards I'd feel more energized. I'd be like, yes. So, but yeah, I would pack on all that protein and everything. I heard in Hawaii what they did is that they had people. Again, I heard in like native Hawaii, when women were on their time of the month, they would actually have them go to a separate house. Yeah, because they were considered unclean, and then they would have to bleed out with all the other women in this like I don't want to this little one house together. And then when they were done bleeding, then they could return back to society or unto men or something like that. How to lose so much blood in psychology? Oh, it's just I don't know. You just persist on, but yeah, that's it's how would I describe him? So I know most of you people who watch your stream are men. This is the best way I can describe it. It's like having really bad stomach pain and also back pain. So imagine having a sore stomach, right? You have it for about 5 days to a week, and then your back hurts too. So your back is cramping, and yeah, you just feel like you can't really do much about it except lie down or yeah, take some like monthly monthly gift tea and or this is gonna sound like TMI, or you do what most people do if you have a stomach cramp and you go to the bathroom. So that's about it. It's just a terrible time of the month. There is nothing pleasant about being a woman during that time of the month. Some women have it, pretty easily, but for me, it's not the best. Yeah, I sleep so much during that time of the month. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Okay, I woke up. Yeah, too much pain. I'm gonna go back to sleep. I feel so I feel like I have like no energy. It's just like waste my life away. In I think Taiwan for a month just for their menstrual leave, and that's a really nice touch. I wish they would do that in the freaking USA. That would be really nice because I mean, think about it. How bad like think about how much it has to be for women to go through when you have Asian countries saying like, yeah, okay, we'll give you menstrual leave for this. That's, that's pretty bad. So, they have the right train of thinking on that. But the downside about that is that if you have a company, right, and you want to reduce the downtime, you're going to be better off hiring more men than women because women, you could be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to have I'm going to hire a woman who's going to have all this like bad period pain, and she's going to say, yeah, I got to call out sick today because my period's just so terrible. So yeah, it's but yeah, I hope that for some of you for the people who are men in this stream, like next time you hear about a woman talking about period pain, and you probably think like, oh, okay, what's the big deal? Just remember, it's like having a bad stomach pain for 1 week with back pain, and all you want to do is lie down and sleep because it's that bad, or go to the bathroom. But you can't really do anything about it until that time goes away, or you just pop in medication or you take tea. Yeah. So anyway, I gotta get going. And I just wanted to update you about my diet. And oh, the other thing I want to tell you guys is since I am working on keto, I am doing more little baked goods using monk fruit sugars and things like that. The person that I follow, the diet chef, I linked his one of his videos, the bread. That one's pretty damn good. I made it one of my streams. I showed it to you guys in streams. It was not bad. It definitely fulfills a bread craving. But because of his videos and because of how I've been eating, I've had inspiration to try and make a keto bubble tea. So I want to make a milk tea that is low carb, zero sugar, and healthy for you. And I think I have it in my brain like how I can do it. Typically, the people would say, "Okay, make sure you use like a monk fruit sweetener or stevia or something like that, right?" And then instead of using Coffee Mate, a lot of these Asian milk tea places they'll use Coffee Mate as non-dairy creamer, or they can use like some of them use like light whipping cream, or some of them use half and half from what I've seen, or heavy whipping cream. So I'm thinking about doing that, and then I have an idea in my head for the tapioca pearls, but I'm not too sure if it's gonna work out. So I just need to find it, and then yeah, if I find that I can try to make it. So I made bubble tea before in the past, and it's not bad. But yeah, I want to figure out a recipe, or I want to create a recipe, and that way for the people who are on the keto diet, they can have a nice, like a well-rounded milk tea, and not have to worry so much about like the sugar crashers or the carb count. And if it comes out good, then maybe I would be drinking more of that. I know some people will tell me like, "Oh, Erica, it's not good to drink the artificial sugars or like the monk fruit sugars," and I gotta see, I gotta see how. I haven't really done much studies about. I haven't read that much studies about it. I have heard things like monk fruit sugar doesn't spike your blood sugar levels, but in terms of anything else, I'm not too sure. But I have heard for some artificial sweeteners, if you drink too much of it, then you do have stomach problems. And I don't know what causes the stomach problems, but that's just what I've been hearing. So, yeah. I will talk to you guys later. I really got to get going, so I'm not late. So, you guys take care. And, again, if you guys are interested in learning more about the keto diet, I have a link in the description. Agave syrup actually spikes your insulin a lot. It has a lot of sugar in it. Try look it up. There's a reason why I don't use agave syrup. So yeah, that thing is like super sweet. So yeah, that agave syrup is not sugar free. It definitely is not sugar free. I heard it was good too, but I rather use honey over that. Yeah. Yeah, so I want to make some quick recipes and then see how that turns out. Like that diet chef guy, he has some really, really, really good recipes, and it's given me inspiration to try and make a few. And then if I do make a few, and if I make it a few times and I'm still happy with it, then I definitely want to share with you guys. And maybe, maybe um, slowly but surely, I can. Eat the foods that I want, but I don't have to deal with like a lot of the health consequences if I had like the full sugar version or the full carb version at all. It's all about having small little steps, and yeah. And I really want to eat yakiniku. That's what I just realized. See ya.